Thank you, Mrs. Ironmonger. 1 Timothy 4:12 states, "Let no one despise you for your youth, but set believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity." Webster's 1828 dictionary defines youth as the part of life that exceeds in childhood. In general sense, youth denotes the whole early part of childhood. All teens can be used by God for His kingdom because they are never too young to learn and act on the Bible. They are beneficial for God's kingdom to make disciples, and when they commit to God, they can change the world. There are many people who think that teens cannot be used in a way adults can. Young people can make disciples and prosper in God's kingdom just like adults. Job 32:9 says, "It is not the old who are wise, nor the aged who understand what's right." Lewis Madison states that teenagers who say yes to God can completely change history. What a privilege it is to help train them to advance in God's kingdom. For example, David, when he was fighting Goliath, he was just a little boy and he was victorious. 1 Samuel 17:49 says, "And David put his hand in the bag and took it and struck the Philistine in the forehead." David had many strong older brothers, but God chose him to take down Goliath. Another example of youth in the Bible is Mary, the mother of Jesus. She was told that she'd give birth to the Messiah and accepted it without hesitation. The angel came to Mary in Luke 1:26-38 saying, "And behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son. You shall call his name Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High." Mary responds in Luke 1:38 by saying, "Behold, I am the servant of the Lord. Let it be according to your word." If Mary in her young age can say yes without hesitation, then we in our young age can say yes without a blink of an eye. If God calls us to live out His plan, why are we so worried about our age? We live in so much self-pride, especially when we are young, it can be hard to commit to God. Most of the time, God has something completely different planned out for our lives. You need to stop trying to plan out your life and really follow what God wants. Deuteronomy 31:8 states, "It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Do not fear nor be dismayed." Over and over, it is apparent that young people have a hard time committing to following God. Most of the time, they're too stubborn to let go of their pride, but sometimes it can be a lot deeper than that. Sometimes a child does not have the support from their parents to follow God. The Fuller study stated the most important factor in whether young people leave the church is whether they have a safe haven to express their doubts or concerns regarding their faith. God Questions also states a key factor in keeping young people from falling away from their God is the influence of their parents. When teens branch off to find out what they believe, they can get a false sense of freedom and fall away from God. We have an immature mind that wants us to go off on our own. The Scrubs portion states that it has been my observation that youth are adapting an attitude of rebellion, which is leading them to follow worldly trends without guilt nor conviction. Additionally, young people just don't want to make the hard decision to follow Christ. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, the plans for welfare, not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." God wants young people in His kingdom. It's just up to them to take that step to follow God. The door is always open, no matter your age. It's just your decision to walk through the door. People do not need to be a legal adult to make disciples for Christ. We see multiple examples in the Bible about how God used young people to glorify Him. 6th and 7th graders remember what God said to the prophet Jeremiah. "Do not say you're too young," the Lord answered. "If I tell you to go and to speak to some, then go. And when I tell you what to say, don't leave out a word. I promise to be with you and keep you safe. So do not be afraid." Thank you.